So this is Contemporary Chinese Volume 2, Lesson 4, and this is Dialogue 1. We went through this in the lecture today, but I'm doing this again for those that left early. So we have our two characters, Ma Ding and Li Qi. And as it says in our introduction up there, they run into each other on the street. And they have the following conversation. 今天你穿得真漂亮啊. So Ma Ding compliments Li Qi on what he's wearing, and he uses the verb plus complement structure that we learned in this lesson in the lecture. And so we have our verb 穿, which is to wear, and we have the complement, which in this case I would say is making an evaluation. And what is it making an evaluation of? So when Ma Ding says 穿得真漂亮, he's referring to the way that Richie is dressed. So they use the verb to dress to describe the way somebody is dressed. And the evaluation is that Richie is dressed really beautifully. So it's using that structure with our... Oops, let me try and find my pen again. Using that structure with the verb 穿 and then the complement here, and then they're linked by the particle 的. Richie responds, 我今天有外事活动. In our vocab list, 外事 is explained as foreign affairs. Here you can see it's used in inverted commas, so that's suggesting it's being used in a way that's different from the way it normally would be, and I guess that's suggesting that Richie is making a bit of a joke here. So 外事 being our foreign affairs or our external affairs, and 活动 here is not a verb, it's a noun because it's preceded by another noun. So these are activities, or I would even say like an event that involves some kind of foreign affairs. So Ma Ding is curious. 外事活动去见中国国家主席还是美国总统? So he's asking the question, well, what foreign affairs event or activities? And then 去见中国国家主席, so go and see. So this is one of our new words today, to see or to meet. And here we've got three noun expressions in succession. The first two are all adding extra information to the third one. So China we know, 国家we also learned in the last lesson, meaning nation, country or state. And 主席 is from this lesson, which means chairman. So altogether, it means that China national or state chairman. And I'm sure you can all think of who that is currently in 2018 in China. And of course, that is Xi Zhuxi, Xi Jinping 主席, Xi 主席. So, Ma Ding is asking, are you going to go and see the Chinese state president? 还是 or 美国总统. And we know 美国 from previous lessons, the USA, and 总统 is a new word meaning president. So Ma Ding has kind of followed the natural, literal meaning of 外事活动 in his thinking. And then Li Qi responds, 都不是，去见我女朋友的父母亲。这是我第一次去他家。So actually this expression is worth noting, and this potentially could come up in a test. 都不是, and in English we would probably translate that as neither. Okay, so literally it's all are not, or both are not, sorry, in this case, because we've got two alternatives. But we would translate it potentially in English as neither. And then he repeats the similar pattern to Ma Ding. 去见, I'm going to see, and you notice in both cases he leaves out the 我. Sorry, in the first case that should have been 你去见, in this case 我去见, but it's understood from the conversation, so that's fine. 去见我女朋友的 父母亲，父母亲. So I'm going to see the parents of, and there's my of, the parents of my girlfriend. So this 我女朋友的, that part there is the attributive. We've talked about that many times before, and basically what that's doing is giving you information about the 父母亲, okay, and in this case it's saying whose 父母亲 is my girlfriend's. Today somebody in the lecture said that in modern parlance we could translate 父母亲 as the rents. So that's the first time I've heard that, and thank you to the classmate that taught me that. 这是我第一次去他家. So this is 第一次, the first time, 去他家, to go to her home. Ma Ding then continues his questioning, as it says there. He's curious. 你女朋友是谁呀? I'm pretty sure you guys can work out what that means. Who is your girlfriend? Li Qi responds, 你不知道. 就是小张啊. It's kind of like saying, what, you don't know? He's quite surprised that Ma Ding is not aware of who his girlfriend is. 就是小张啊. So here, the 小张 is using the surname of the girl, Zhang, and it's adding 小 in front of it. And that suggests that, firstly, obviously, Li Qi and Xiao Zhang's relationship is quite close. They know each other quite well. But it's also telling us that Ma Ding also knows this girl, because Li Qi is using this term, Xiao, before the surname, Xiao Zhang, to refer in a very familiar way to somebody that they all know, and it's clearly about their own age. And then the 就是 and the in a way are emphasizing the fact that this is somebody that Ma Ding already knows. And so the is often put at the end of a response where you're answering a question where the answer should be obvious. And so this is emphasizing, well, it should be obvious. So then Ma Ding goes, 小张, he's in a state of confusion here. 小张就是那个特别可爱、特别漂亮的女孩子啊. So he's now trying to clarify, which Xiao Zhang are we talking about here? And so obviously Xiao Zhang is a girl, she's a 女孩子, and he's now listing out, if you like, describing some characteristics, some attributes of this girl, which he associates with Xiao Zhang in an attempt to clarify which Xiao Zhang we're talking about. So what are the attributes? The girl is 那个特别可爱. So that 特别 is a new word for us in this lesson, especially or particularly 可爱, cute. We've got 特别 again, 漂亮的女孩子. So here are the two characteristics. It's that particularly cute and particularly beautiful girl. He's asking the question, obviously. So for your sakes, for something like the test and so on, if I was to ask you to outline what is the attributive of 女孩子, and if you think about it, 女孩子 is a noun. Well, in fact, 孩子 is a noun. And I would even go so far as to say that the 女 is really a characteristic of the 孩子. So what kind of child, young person is it? Well, they're female, but also we know now that they are especially cute and especially pretty. So all of that is this attributive that plus noun. And actually probably we should put in here that it's often connected by the da. All right, so all of that. So there's our noun there, the 女孩子. Here it is here. Or the 孩子, and then the rest of that is the attributive. Okay, so Ruchi then says, 是啊. It's like saying, yeah, it's obvious, man. Ma Ding then goes on, so he's not convinced. He's surprised. He's still trying to figure out, is there another Xiao Zhang? 那个唱歌唱得非常好听的女孩子. So if you look in this first description that he makes of her, he's using mostly adjectives, 可爱, 漂亮, okay? Oh, also, sorry, I forgot to mention too, one really important thing. Just note here, this comma. This is a listing comma, right? So this is all part of the one kind of little clause, if you like, or sentence, the one description, and it's a listing comma because there's a couple of these characteristics or attributes that Ma Ding is describing. If you look here in this next attempt to identify clearly which girl we're talking about, or which girl Xiao Wang is, here he's using these verbs, 唱歌, or this verb, 唱歌, 唱歌. So obviously this girl, who he thinks is Xiao Zhang, can sing, right? So he's trying to say, that girl that sings so pleasantly or extremely pleasantly. So it's 那个唱歌唱的非常好听的女孩子. So we've got two things going here. Firstly, we have got all of this. I'm going to include the new in there as well. All of this is our attributive. So it's all describing plus plus noun. So all of this part here is describing some character or featuristic, a feature or characteristic of the girl, and then it's also using this new structure of verb plus predicate as part of that description. Okay, so again, we'll note that the verb is 唱歌, but 唱is the real verb in that expression. 唱. So as we said in the lecture today, these complements can only be put together with verbs. They come directly after the verb and they're linked by the da. So because 唱歌 is made up of 唱, which is a real verb, 歌, which is a noun, so therefore if we're going to include a complement, it has to come after the verb, which is 唱. So what's important about this is it's not saying that she sings extremely pleasantly. It's saying she is the girl that sings extremely pleasantly. So this is all describing the characteristic or feature or attribute of this person. So Li Qi then goes on and says, 是啊, of course. Yeah. And then Ma Ding's still going on. He's a little bit weird, and it sounds like he's been stalking her or something, because he seems to know an awful lot about her, or he's a bit obsessed by her. But anyhow, 那个跳舞跳得特别优美的女孩子. So once again, he's using the same sort of format, if you like. So all of that is the attributive plus noun. So there's the noun there, and all of that's the attributive, including the naga. And then once again, he's using this new structure, verb plus complement, that we've learned today. So we've got 跳舞, which means to dance, of course. And it's made up of the two characters, 跳, which is the true verb, 舞, which is a noun. So therefore, if I'm going to use a complement to describe how she dances, then I need to repeat the verb so that I can have my complement directly after it. And again, we're linking that complement with the de. And we've got the 特别优美, meaning particularly or especially graceful. So that girl that dances particularly gracefully. And Nietzsche does the same thing. 是啊. And then finally, Ma Ding's sort of coming to a bit of a realization here. He's a bit dumb. 她是你女朋友。Okay, she's your girlfriend, kind of thing. 是啊 yeah. So now Martin's starting to get a bit worried. 你们是 well, actually, sorry, I put the 是 in there kind of habitually, but anyhow, I'll read it out as it is and then we'll talk about that. 你们什么时候认识的？你们什么时候认识的？ Then you could equally say 你们是什么时候认识的？ So that is an example of our 是的 construction. And I would venture to say that in this case, the information that we're trying to highlight in this question is information about when something happened. So 什么时候认识的？李琦 says 去年你还有什么问题？ So 去年 you guys know last year. What other questions do you have? Or do you still have other questions? Or do you still have questions? So the still have is 还有 还 meaning still or yet, and of course 有 to have. And then Ma Ding to himself, and I would say rather despondently, says 没有了 没有了. So here the 了 expresses the idea of change, a change of state, change of situation. So he had lots of questions before and now he doesn't. So there's been a change of state. 没有了. And then he goes, 嗨我太晚了. So this 嗨 is kind of this expression of despondency. Oh, and then I'm too late. 太晚了. I just want to quickly mention that that 了 has nothing to do with these le's over here, this kind of 了. That 了 is connected together here with the 太, and basically the two together mean it's too late. Or if you said 太好了, it means it's well, that means it's terrific, but anyhow. So that 了 is a different 了, and it emphasizes the concept of too late. And then Richie, finally looking very puzzled, says 太晚了你什么意思 Too late? What do you mean?